12 noon, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on CoreTV News of the Hour. I am Ebunlomo Adekunle. President Goodluck Jonathan on Wednesday cleared the air on alleged plans to prolong his tenure, saying if the results of the March 28th presidential election does not favor him, he will hand over to whoever wins. Jonathan, in a live media chat apparently organized to douse the tension generated by the postponement of the general elections, before and after the polls were shifted from February 14th and 28th to March 28th and April 11th. There were rumors that the president and the People's Democratic Party were nursing a sinister plot not to hand over power. The rumors were further fueled by statements credited to ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo in faraway Nairobi, Kenya. But Jonathan told a panel of interviewers that he was not desperate to remain in power. He said such insinuations and wrong information were meant to discredit him by his political opponents. President Goodluck Jonathan also says the menace of the Boko Haram terrorists will be over before the rescheduled general elections. Jonathan, who spoke at a special edition of the presidential media chat in Abuja, says the cooperation of neighboring countries has ensured that the war on the terrorists is now going on well.
The case of the Chibok girls, I believe now that we are working with Chad, working with Cameroon, I believe in the next few weeks the story of the Chibok girls will begin to get better. The issues of at least rescuing some of them and so on. I believe that I cannot say, I cannot say the president said so. I don't want to be quoted and say maybe if I give you presidency in 2 weeks' time or in 4 weeks' time, we are going to. I cannot say that because the disappearance of these girls are taking quite some time. But we have mapped out a configuration now. We're working with our neighbors and we'll comb the whole of that area.
On the purported move to remove Atairu Jega as chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, the president responded this way.
I appointed members of INEC. INEC is a standing executive body defined by the Constitution. It is the president that appoints every commissioner in INEC, both the national commissioners and the resident electoral commissioners are my appointees. So if I feel that Jega is not good enough for obvious reasons, then I can, by there are provisions in the Constitution that gives the person who appoints the power to remove. And I've not told anybody that I'm going to remove Jega. I've never said so.
The presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, has welcomed the endorsement of former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, saying it will convince more Nigerians to vote for him and his party. Buhari said this on Wednesday night during an interview with CNN's chief international correspondent, Christine Amanpour. Obasanjo had on Tuesday in Nairobi, Kenya, during an interview with the Financial Times of London at the launch of his controversial autobiography entitled My Watch, expressed support for Buhari. When asked by Amanpour what he thought of Obasanjo's endorsement, Buhari said it would certainly bring more supporters to his party and more confidence to those who are sitting on the fence. This, he said, was because General Obasanjo is highly respected, and as far as the Nigerian nation is concerned, there is no serious issue that can be discussed without people seeking his opinion and listening to it. In endorsing Buhari, Obasanjo said the circumstances Buhari will be working under if he wins the elections are different from the ones he worked under before, where he was both the executive and the legislature. He also said he is smart, educated and experienced enough, thereby gaining his support. Buhari also expressed a similar view when he asked if he had changed. He admitted that some of the things his regime was accused of had a degree of accuracy, but insisted that things would be different when he is voted into power. The campaign organization of President Goodluck Jonathan has described the endorsement of the presidential candidate of the rival All Progressives Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, by former President Olusegun Obasanjo as unfortunate. It nevertheless said that the former president should know that he has only one vote. The campaign organization was reacting to the endorsement of Buhari by the former chairman of the Board of Trustees of the ruling party in Kenya on Tuesday. Speaking on Buhari, Obasanjo said the former head of state was aware of the challenges of Nigeria and was qualified to rule the country again. He said that he had confidence that Buhari would be able to tackle corruption and insecurity effectively if elected. The open endorsement of Buhari by Obasanjo was at the detriment of Jonathan and the ruling party, and presidency was said to have been jolted by this action. Though the former president has never hidden his contempt for President Goodluck Jonathan because of his alleged ineffective leadership, it was gathered that the presidency was of the opinion that Obasanjo would not openly speak on the issue. However, the director of media and publicity of the PDP presidential campaign organization, Femi Fani-Kayode, said in Abuja on Wednesday that Obasanjo was entitled to his opinion. The All Progressives Congress has raised alarm over the police siege on the residence of the Director of Media and Publicity of the APC Presidential Campaign Organization, Shehu Garba, saying the action is in line with the ongoing harassment and intimidation of the party's leadership by security agencies. In a statement issued in Abuja on Thursday by its National Publicity Secretary, Lai Mohammed, the party said Garba's residence at the NNPC quarters, Area 11 Abuja, has been surrounded by armed policemen since 3 a.m. on Thursday. APC called on those who sent the armed security personnel to Garba's residence to immediately order their withdrawal and tell Nigerians what he has done to warrant such harassment. The party said, coming after the siege by armed troops on the residence of the APC national leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Lagos, and the similar siege on the Imo State government house in Owerri, it is now clear that Jonathan's administration has finally launched its much-anticipated clampdown on the opposition ahead of the general elections. A federal high court in Abuja struck out a suit challenging the eligibility of President Goodluck Jonathan to stand for election in the March 28th presidential election. Justice Ahmed Muhammad struck out the suit after counsel to the four plaintiffs decided to withdraw the suit. Defense counsel Ade Okianya Inet did not oppose the application but insisted that his client was entitled to a cost. The court agreed and consequently awarded 50,000 naira against the plaintiffs, aside from striking out the suit.
Well, this is one of a series of cases that has been contesting the tenure of the president. This one was struck out today. The applicants brought an application to discontinue.
Did they give a court any reason why they want to?
Well, they did. They don't have to. I think the law is clear. Perhaps that's the reason which they didn't give. So they discontinued. The matter was struck out. So that's the end of it for now, at least for this stage.
The suit filed against Dr. Ebele Jonathan, the plaintiff gave us instruction to withdraw the suit, and the suit has been so withdrawn. Well, the clients feel they want to withdraw. They've given us the instruction and we've done what they want.
Voting has been disrupted at the ongoing NLC Delegates Conference in Abuja. Delegates accused the leadership of manipulating the electoral process in favor of its preferred candidate. Some of them who left the venue in anger expressed their disappointment at the entire process. We'll bring you details of this report later. It's the CoreTV News on the hour. We'll take a short break and we'll return with more reports. Please stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Many thanks for being there, and for more news and other information, you can visit a social media platform. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. And for videos on YouTube, it's youtube.com/CoreTV, /space, then news. The United Nations has commended members of the political class for the mature way they handled the postponement of the general elections. Special Representative of the UN Secretary General Mohammed Ibn Chambers told State House correspondents after meeting President Goodluck Jonathan that the international community was glad that the decision did not lead to political crisis. He added that the UN hopes that Nigerians would continue to keep the electoral process peaceful, clean and transparent to ensure a universally acceptable outcome of the rescheduled election. Ibn Chambers revealed that UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon on Friday had separate telephone chats with President Goodluck Jonathan and the main opposition candidate Muhammadu Buhari when it was certain that the elections would be postponed.
The manner in which the electoral process is proceeding, the Secretary General commends Mr. President and other political leaders of this country to continue on that path. Secondly, there's strong support in the fight against Boko Haram. Boko Haram is not only a threat to Nigeria or the region, but indeed it's an international issue and requires the full international support in Nigeria's legitimate fight against Boko Haram. The same way that the fight is taking to Shabab and ISIS and ACME in North Mali, the same effort is required in the fight against Boko Haram.
The UN Special Envoy also visited candidate of the All Progressives Congress Muhammadu Buhari on issues surrounding the forthcoming elections. Mohammed Ibn Chambers raised a number of poses during the meeting before going into a closed-door session with the former head of state.
We now know the new date is, especially for the presidential, indeed for the presidential, and others have been fixed. And for the presidential, in 6 weeks' time, we hope that during this ensuing period, the campaigns will continue in the peaceful manner in which they have been conducted, and that on election day, many more Nigerians than otherwise would have been the case where the elections held on Saturday, the 14th, will be enabled to exercise their franchise and be able to do so in an atmosphere that is characterized by peace and security, and one in which Nigerians will be truly able to exercise their free choice.
What statement the military made or INEC made in terms of the letter from the military that they cannot guarantee the security of INEC if elections were conducted on the 14th and 28th as previously fixed by INEC about a year ago, was unfortunate, because the military law or advice should go to the commander-in-chief, as well as that of the National Security Advisor. There's no need for him to go to Chatham House, London, and express opinion in his role as National Security Advisor about our elections. He should send his report to his commander-in-chief. Let his commander-in-chief, through the normal constitutional bodies, make the announcement.
The People's Democratic Party has accused the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Atayu Rujega, of plotting with the All Progressives Congress to manipulate the forthcoming elections in favor of its candidate. Its presidential campaign team specifically claims that Jega has had a series of meetings with APC leaders in Dubai and other cities around the world to perfect the plot. Spokesman for the campaign team, Femi Fani-Kayode, said at a news conference in Abuja that the poor distribution rate of permanent voter cards in regions considered to be the stronghold of President Goodluck Jonathan was part of the plan. He wondered why, in spite of raging insurgency in the northeast, the region has had a far better rate of PVC collection than relatively peaceful parts of the southern Nigeria. The spokesman consequently challenged INEC chairman to show proof of arrival of all the voter cards that arrived from China. He also wants JAGA to respond to allegations of partisanship and ineptitude. The Federal Executive Council has ratified the national policy on staple foods processing zones and national agency for the Great Green Wall Bill. It also approved 8 bills at a session presided over by President Goodluck Jonathan. The bills include the National Transport Commission Bill, National Roads Fund Bill, Federal Roads Authority Bill, Nigeria Ports and Harbour Authority Bill, and Nigeria Railway Authority Bill. A number of cabinet members were briefed the media on the outcome of the meeting at a news conference coordinated by President Goodluck Jonathan's spokesman,
the Ports and Harbour Authority Bill, and the National Inland Waterways Authority Bill. But before I go into the individual bills, let me take the liberty to emphasize that the reform of the federal government in transportation is aimed at instituting a private sector-driven economy to align with the overall objective of the federal government economic policy and the Vision 2020. Of course, before now, government as a dominant player had always financed, operated, regulated and managed almost all major sectors of the economy, including transportation. However, the challenges of management, inadequate maintenance, funding, etc., necessitated the sector reform to open up to private sector participation, with government role limited to policy regulation, supervision, and indeed creating the enabling environment.
We know the problem of the Sahara Desert and the effect of climate change in our country. And if care is not taken, the devastation effect will be enormous and great in our country. And so in line with the transformation agenda of Mr. President, he established this agency. And we have carried out a lot of activities in these states, and the result is overwhelming. And the communities within those states are very, very happy. We have 305 communities that are benefiting from this. We have created jobs. We have provided facilities like water, and so on and so forth for the community.
They approved the national policy for the establishment of staple crop processing zones in Nigeria. Let me just explain what those zones basically mean. They basically will be new zones where we are going to be processing and adding value to all staple fruits that we produce in the country. And also, since we are producing a lot more food, that we must add value to every single thing that we have. And so this staple crop processing zone will be our new instrument to allow us to bring private sector food manufacturing companies into the rural economy. They will no longer be moving raw materials out of rural areas. They will process and add value to everything there. They will create jobs, they will create markets, they will revive our rural economy, and they will stem the tide of rural-urban migration that we currently see today. We'll become a much more efficient producer, but also a much more competitive producer of processed food.
The bills include the National Transport Commission Bill 2015, National Roads Fund Bill, Federal Roads Authority Bill, Nigeria Ports and Harbour Authority Bill 2015, Nigeria Inland Waterways Authority Bill 2015, Nigerian Railway Authority Bill 2015, as well as the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Bill. The Kogi state government has allocated 15,000 hectares of land for the cassava staple crops processing zone. Governor Idris Wada disclosed this at a news conference in the presidential villa. He said the federal government's project is expected to provide thousands of job opportunities for people in the state.
I'm here because the Kogi is the pioneer staple crop processing zone project for cassava. We have cassava staple crop processing zone at Alape in Kababunu local government area of Kogi State. We have been working closely with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture on this project. We have allocated 15,000 hectares of land. Perimeter surveys have been done. The local communities are very excited about the project in partnership with Cargill, and a lot of work has been done. Environmental and social impact studies are going on. The interests of the smallholder farmers are accommodated in the whole project. Settlers in the area are not going to be disrupted. The World Bank is involved, so everything is done to international standards. We believe that this will transform the rural economy of the Kababunu local government area and adjoining local governments in Kogi State. There will be massive job opportunities. We estimate at least 10,000 jobs will be created when this project takes off fully.
We'll take another break now and we'll return with a story from outside Nigeria.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
Now in Ukraine, President Petro Poroshenko will attend an EU summit in Brussels on Thursday to discuss the war in his country. Poroshenko will brief US on the developments in Ukraine, Tusk said in a letter inviting heads of state to Thursday's meeting. The Ukrainian president was expected to report back on peace talks taking place on Wednesday in the Belarusian capital Minsk with the leaders of France, Germany and Russia. The four-way summit is billed as a chance to halt an upsurge in fighting between heavily armed pro-Russian separatists and Ukrainian forces. The United States and the European Union have slapped punishing economic sanctions on Russia in response for Moscow's alleged backing for the rebels in Ukraine.
From the very beginning, 45 wounded persons from the disaster that happened today from the Russian side when two blasts of the multi-rocket launch system Smerch hitting more than 64 persons wounded. 5 of them are children, 10 of them are very difficult, and unfortunately killed already 16 persons. This is a disaster. This is a crime against humanity. When civilian people living in their houses where there is no any military object, this is almost 50 kilometers from the front line, and the Russian-backed rebels and terrorists attacking civilian, attacking peaceful city of Kramatorsk. This incident is exactly dedicated to cancel, to be harmful for the negotiation in Minsk. Somebody don't like the peace. Somebody wants a war. Somebody wants that they have only influence when they have killing the people, have a war, have an aggression against peaceful Ukraine. We don't allow them to do that. We stop the war. We are a peaceful nation, and the whole world is together with us.
That report ends the news for this hour. Do join us again, top of the hour for more. Thank you very much for watching. I am Ebulomo Adekunle.